Now then, the events which have occurred over the last few days, and I'm being bombarded with requests from all around, Sheikh, do offer us some comment to bring some clarity to us of what's happening in the Holy Land. And my first comment is to remind you, if you need to be reminded, that our Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, he prophesied. He said in the last stage, in the end times, there'll be great liars. Russia doesn't lie. Putin doesn't lie. But there'll be great liars in the end time. So beware, he said, beware. And yes, we know what happened in Pearl Harbor. Was it 1945? When the American government was aware that Japan was planning a massive attack on the American fleet, the Armada, parked in Pearl Harbor in perhaps Hawaii. And they did not take any steps to protect the ships and to protect the sailors in the ships. And they remained silent, and the American Armada was destroyed. And I don't know, maybe 2,000 men lost their lives when Japan launched this attack, and the Americans knew the attack was coming. And why did they allow it to attack? Why were they silent? Because they had a plan to put into action, and they needed this attack to take place to mobilize public opinion. And these innocent lives were lost because of the hypocrisy of the American government. The same thing happened in 9/11, when not only did the American government know that a terrorist attack was being launched on the World Trade Center, but the American CIA was a part of planning and executing the attack, of course, in alliance with their sister, the Israeli Mossad. I don't know who played a major role and who played a minor role. That's unimportant between two sisters. And they allowed the attack to take place, although they knew it was going to come to attack. It was going to take place. And so many innocent people lost their lives. Of course, there were those who were warned not to go to work on that day. And of course, they didn't go to work, and their lives were saved. But the others who were not warned, they lost their lives on that day. And so now we say that it is impossible that Israel did not have knowledge that this attack was being launched a few days ago. If Israel was completely unaware, and if Israel was honest and truthful in saying we had no advance knowledge that this attack was being launched, then I say to Israel, from my sitting room here in the Caribbean island of Trinidad, if you are truthful, then a camel could also pass through the eye of a needle. No, no, it's not possible that Israel was unaware that this attack was being launched. If we are correct, then what are the implications? I want to restrict myself in this brief video to only this part of the subject. The Israeli government declared we are at war. And so these are prisoners of war and not hostages. And now then, if the Israeli government knew that this attack was coming, and they chose to remain silent and allow it to take place, it can only be because there's a big plan at work, and they needed this to be able to advance that master plan. And what can that master plan be? In Jerusalem, in the Quran, we pointed out that the Torah says that the Holy Land extends from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates, and that is false. That is false. Moscow, I hope you're listening. That is false. The Holy Land does not extend from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates. But if that is in the Torah, and the reason why the state of Israel was restored in the Holy Land is because the Jews believe that the Messiah is still to come. He has not come as yet. They reject Jesus, the son of Maryam, as the Messiah. Jesus is not the Messiah, says Israel. Should I repeat that? Washington, are you listening? Israel says that Jesus is not the Messiah. He is a bogus Messiah. He's false. And they have brought a state of Israel into being in the Holy Land in order that their Messiah, who is still to come, may be able to rule over a holy Israel in Jerusalem and rule over the world. And so the golden age will come back. If you read Jerusalem in the Quran, you've understood that. And so they need the state of Israel to expand its territory, to encompass the biblical frontiers of the Holy Land. And so if I am correct that this war was allowed to take place, as Pearl Harbor was allowed to take place, as 9/11 was allowed to take place, that there is a plan behind it. That's why they allowed it to take place. And so many people lost their lives who could have been saved. It's because perhaps Israel is planning a bigger war. The Israeli Mossad will probably be very angry with me for revealing this is possibly the plan. To try to provoke Hezbollah in Lebanon to enter the war formally. And once Hezbollah enters the war, then the road to Iran is open. But if Israel believes that you can launch a war against Iran and that you will be successful, remember, Israel, you're playing with fire. Why? Because all of mankind are going to suffer if there is a war with Iran. From the time Iran is attacked, the first implication is that Iran is now going to become a nuclear power. Shall I repeat that for you in Jerusalem? The moment you attack Iran, the first implication, and Washington cannot stop it, is that Iran will immediately become a nuclear power, nuclear weapons power, join the nuclear club of countries with nuclear weapons. Is that what you want for Israel? Not only that, the second implication is that while Iran may not use a nuclear weapon on Israel, there's no need to do that. Unless, as in the policy of the state of Russia, it is when Russia's territory, the state, is endangered, only then would Russia use nuclear weapons. So Iran might decide the same thing. When the survival of Iran as a state is at stake, only then would we resort to nuclear weapons. But Iran would immediately become a nuclear power. The second implication, Israel, I hope you're listening, is that immediately you attack Iran, all the oil installations, all of them in the Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, all of them will go up in flames.